I'd like to talk to you for the next 10 minutes or so about the importance of literacy and numeracy in my two teaching areas, the visual arts and in commerce. Let's start by defining literacy and numeracy. Literacy, in its simplest definition, is the ability to read and write. But there's more to it than that, and it's worthwhile including reading and writing, speaking and listening, understanding and communicating. It's also worth noting that each of these categories can be broken down further into ever-increasing detail. For example, understanding can be understood in terms of the student's capacity to remember, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create based on the information they have before them. And yes, we could break these terms down even further, like an ever-ending series of babushka dolls, going into further and further detail. As artists, we find order in chaos. We explore and discover rhythm and beauty. We create, we express our thoughts and ideas. We hone our skills of perception and interpretation. And we share our ideas and our discoveries with those around us who will listen. And as students of commerce, we equip ourselves with the tools, skills and knowledge to survive in this world. We find our place in the global setting, we gain insights into law and politics, and we work towards employment and realize our identity as consumers and decision makers. This practice of literacy and numeracy lends itself naturally, or perhaps more accurately, obviously, when considering literacy, learning strategies, and creative thinking in the visual arts. As numeracy perhaps lends itself more naturally and obviously to the study of commerce. Thinking more specifically about literacy, in the Australian curriculum, literacy is comprised of 4 areas of knowledge and 2 processes. The 2 processes are 1. Comprehension of text and visual information. This process refers to the development of skills and knowledge in understanding multimodal text, that is, spoken, written, and visual literacy. And 2. The creation of text and visual information. This process is the expression of understanding. Again, a multimodal approach that communicates literacy in the spoken, written, and visual forms. And the 4 areas of knowledge are 1. Grammar knowledge, which is understanding the construction of meaning and the structure of language, learning the rules of language. 2. Text knowledge, recognizing that meaning can be conveyed in varied ways to address different audiences and convey different messages. 3. Word knowledge, developing strategies and broadening understanding in a variety of specialized areas, learning the vocabulary of your key learning area. And visual knowledge, number 4. Appreciating how visual communication works, learning to read the signs, understanding graphs, maps, and tables. The teaching processes to engage students in the visual arts involve using literacy to enhance and develop their application of knowledge through a discussion that revolves around their art and the artwork of others. Students will learn new terminology and harness the power of language to explore their ideas and challenge other ideas and pre-existing notions. In commerce, students will learn the specific language that features in complex business and economic processes and relate them to their own experiences when interpreting and describing commercial events and ideas. Numeracy. In the Australian curriculum, numeracy is primarily delivered through the mathematics key learning area. However, in the context of this talk, numeracy refers to the recurring and ever-present use and need of simple and complex mathematical skills and applications that can be applied in everyday life. By developing a cross-curriculum practice in numeracy, student learning is enriched, reinforcing the learning of general mathematics and creating meaningful opportunities to put their learning into the context of their everyday life. The learning continuum of numeracy incorporates the following elements. 1. Estimating and calculating with whole numbers. By using numbers in context, students are given the opportunity to solve everyday problems. Visual arts students might estimate the number of fence palings in their field of view and then count them. Or estimate the amount of paint needed to cover a canvas and then evaluate their expectations versus the reality. A commerce student might calculate a budget in a business plan and then compare those findings with real-life examples. 2. Recognizing and using patterns and relationships. Here the students identify and analyze trends and find commonalities. Visual arts students might follow the pattern of a flower petal in nature, or identify patterns in the man-made world, such as a cityscape or in architecture. For the commerce student, it might be following financial trends in the economy, or establishing causal relationships between supply and demand. 3. Using fractions, decimals, percentages, ratios, and rates. The golden ratio, or the rule of thirds, is a concept that is relevant to the visual arts student, as it is repeated throughout many of the great artworks, as it is also found in nature. And ratios help define points in space that allow the artist to depict perspective. In commerce, using fractions, decimals, percentages, ratios, and rates will help students solve problems and represent their findings. 4. Using spatial reasoning. Spatial reasoning can be expressed in visual arts through the creation and appreciation of sculpture, and by representing three-dimensional space on the two-dimensional picture plane. And in commerce, the use of spatial reasoning can help in understanding of graphs, tables, and charts. 5. Interpreting statistical information. Students learn to explain the world around them with big data and understand random events. And 6. Using measurement. Measurement includes volume, capacity, time, mass, area, and length, all directly applicable to the creation of art. And in commerce, working with timetables, spreadsheets, and empirical data. We live in exciting times. It's an exciting time to be a student, an exciting time to be a teacher. We are at the forefront now of great leaps forward in innovation and change.